here. I'm going to start the reading. And what I ask is that they give me specific information for you. And the first thing that I absolutely want to talk about is unresolved issues with you. Okay, so you have a lot of stuff that is unresolved. And I feel like you're glowing in pink and orange, okay? So this would have to do with mom and dad as well, okay? So I want to talk about mom first because she seems to crown you. Is your mom still present in the physical world?
She is, but it's complicated.
Okay. Because mom seems to be one of the big issues, okay? And what's mom's name?
It's complicated, but Elaine.
You know, I'm going to tell you, I also feel as though there's a child connected to you. Okay, so whether you were supposed to have a child at one point and it wasn't successful, okay, I feel as though you have a child that's stepping forward from the spirit world as well. Do you understand what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, so I want to recognize that child being present, okay. Was it not a full pregnancy?
No.
Okay, okay, because I'm going to recognize, I feel like this was about 3 years ago, okay, and there's no time in the spirit world, so sometimes they're off by 10 years, but I want to go specifically to 3 years for some reason, okay, so there's definitely a 3 connected to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And dad's in spirit?
Yes.
Okay, and what was dad's name?
Robert.
Okay, and you know, I want to connect him to alcoholism or addiction. Do you understand? And I feel very strongly as though you glow in orange, which represents that he would have had a lot of issues in this life, okay? And I almost feel as though he's leaving very quickly. Do you understand? Almost like from, was he incarcerated at one point?
Yeah.
Okay, because he's talking about incarceration, so I feel as though you weren't able to see him as often as what you would have liked to. I almost feel as though there's a sense of abandonment connected with you through dad, okay? And I feel as though dad was not that old when he left, okay? He goes to 32. And why he's giving me the number 32, that could represent different things. It may have been 32 when he had actually started, okay? How old was he when he actually passed?
Well, it is complicated, but he passed when he was in his early 70s.
Okay.
So,
how old are you now?
28.
Okay. So he's giving me 32 for a reason. I also feel as though there's another man in spirit connected to you, okay, who would be like a dad as well, okay, but completely different. Do you understand what I mean?
Yep.
And I feel as though he's stepping forward and he's putting his hand on your shoulder, okay, so he's not like dad whatsoever. So, is this a grandfather or a stepfather?
Who that's coming through?
Yeah.
He would have actually been my uncle.
Your uncle, okay.
Yep.
I feel like he's a father. Do you understand? Like he's definitely a father figure. And this is who we're going to talk to. Because I feel like with your dad, he comes forward bringing an apology. And I almost want to say because you would feel empty on some level because of this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like when I'm connecting to dad, I'm going right to my stomach, okay? So he had some type of issue connected to his stomach, okay? And he says everything was affected at some point, okay? And I almost feel as though I'm connecting to a lung condition and a heart condition as well. So it's almost like massive failure throughout the whole body.
Yeah.
But I feel as though the impact that he had on you was absolutely huge.
Oh, yeah.
In his presence and non-presence at the same time. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So, what was your uncle's name?
Miko.
How do you spell that?
M-E-C... I think I could be wrong.
He's saying M-E-C-I-K-O.
That would sound right.
Now, when I'm connecting with him, I feel as though he was more a prominent part. But I almost feel like he's your uncle, but not your uncle. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because he says, I'm not really connected, but I'm very connected. So he's your uncle, but he's not your uncle. Okay, so, and when I ask him to step forward, there's a woman absolutely beside him that would be connected as well. Okay, so whether it's a grandmother, I feel like family division is very prominent with you, and I feel as though it's had a profound effect on you, almost going into a period of isolation, and feeling as though you don't. So somebody's saying that you weren't able to attend. So were you not able to attend your dad's funeral?
I did, but it was split with the family.
Okay, because I feel like your dad's stepping forward, so the unresolved issue is absolutely with him. Okay, because I feel as though he's overriding everything, and he's saying that you weren't able to attend. Okay, and I almost feel as though he's going through problems with a tie. Okay, so whether you just weren't, do you understand what I'm saying? He's
Totally,
going to
yes.
problems with a tie. Okay,
Yeah.
and he's stepping forward, and he's finally stepping forward as to who he's supposed to be. Instead of, he must have talked with his hands as well, because I feel like I just want to go like this.
Yeah.
And I feel as though he's saying, trying to get your attention. So has Dad been gone for 5 years?
Almost. It's about 3 years now.
Okay.
Almost 4.
So he goes to the 5-year mark, and I'm going to tell you, he shows me roses, which absolutely represent love. But I feel as though he was not able to express it. Do you understand? I feel as though he was very secretive, and I feel as though you always questioned every move he made. And there's still stuff that you have not released with regards to Dad. So, did Dad live away from you?
At
feel
some
like,
points, yes.
yeah, I feel like you have to go away to see him, and I feel as though, you're all set to go, and then the trip is canceled. Do you understand what I mean? It's like, I'm ready to go, and the trip is canceled, and he also says he had problems with his liver as well. Okay, so there would have been some type of issue with his liver, but eventually I'm leaving because of my heart. Do you understand what I mean?
Yep.
And I feel as though I'm just taking a heart attack, and I feel as though, either you were a surprise, okay, or you weren't expected to be here as long as what you were. Do you understand? And I feel like he goes to you being 3. So the separation must have started with Dad when you were about 3, where it was kind of in and out, in and out, in and out. Do you understand what I mean? When spirits have remorse, they actually call him Bobby.
Yeah.
Okay, because he just corrected you and said his name is Bobby, okay?
Yeah.
So,